Have you ever had to bury your emotions as if you were a child at the age of 5? Longing to stay outside, innocence clinging on to dear life? Well, I know what that's like. I've lived that twice, quiet as kept, silent as mice, trying to play nice, working 10 times as hard to stay awake at night, directly aligning me to believe that impossible dreams are happening every day. I remember when that would play. Purposefully preceding my mother leaving for the evening or even the weekend, bowling, constantly consuming her time. As I'm spending mine pinned up against my twin or familiarizing myself with the taste of bittersweet lips. Looking wide-eyed at the cornfield scream from my lips, I utter unidentifiably, "Sister, why are we watching this?" Beginning to feel her pouting pudding covered body lift, and even then, as sight could tell, I deeply felt the weight of carrying guilt, bearing burdens that should have never been laid down, but instead lay beside me, rocking me to sleep. Bearings began to bring the matter back up, starting to break down barriers built to block streams of release, nightmare-filled dreams, waking up in a puddle of pee, realizing that the monster that lives under the bed was instead laying on the side of me, making fun of me in front of everybody, pampering, protecting precious little secrets, pretending not to know the hand that I was dealt from the neglect that I felt, until ironically, familiar season swept. But this time, I was angrily moving into terrible conditions in which my mother knew. As I begged on my knees, asking if I could leave, with every prominent plea from "I'll stay in my room and only leave out to clean" to "Please don't leave. I'm sorry, it's not you, it's me." But I could see in her ignorant eyes, as if sight was clear, she had no belief in me, no faith in me. Religiously invoking tears, frightful fears I pray would never touch me again that night. And as my mother drove out of sight, feelings of ancestors' abuse and abandonment that never truly made the news tied a noose around my head, left my body lying lifeless underneath the roof that I had been kept. And to tell you the truth, I thought I deserved the cards that I had been dealt. Delivery muted because even Jesus wept. Well, at least now my sister knew how Judas felt. Betrayal, sweltering, smothering, choking me. She was the one who should have been protecting me. Consequently familiarized, traumatized me to know how strangers smelt, separating verbs from all logic. Looking over the topic like a back sitcom movie, I lie awake still from this stranger swimming in my depth, thinking he must know how the Holy Spirit felt. 'Cause at the age of 15, I silently wept. His secret is kept. Like 10 more years, I would finally pass, stronger than the past, weakened by a drugged out flash, vibration so high I time traveled to the past. As this friendly vulture began to torture my scattered remains, I vowed that this ending wouldn't play out the same, until he filled me with a shame that made me look at my chosen kinship in different ways. Sinking in that familiar gaze of disbelief still to this day. I still recollect how to get the sayings right. You don't act like someone who has been raped. Any logical person would want to report it. It's almost like it didn't happen, or as if my still drugged body had been calling for more. I've heard this before. Clear as day, remembering how Roger Rabbit was framed, how the channel never changed. Movement and muted noise became the special effects, manipulating my brain for what the brain sees sickly as being good, quickly thinking, deeply sinking. It was on that day for sure that I swore to never be one of those Me Too stories that you would see on the news. Typecasted to be portrayed as the villain, envious at the people who had the strength that I bore on my thigh where the truth still lies. There is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside of you. Scars that I cannot seem to ignore, so as I lie awake, restless, honestly praying, I didn't have to forgive but never forget peace. But here I am, on the bottom level, floored, not knowing what to do, with nothing left to lose. I press record, and it's time for me to soar. So, my name is Shay, and I've embodied the 2 out of 3, and I too have a story, and it's time. Have you ever had to bury your emotions as if you were a child at the age of 5? Release.